Yeah.
The cloud is sketchy. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on up there.
Yeah, at least you can search it on your computer, you know?
Yeah, and then I can delete it because I think the memory is the issue, but I can just delete it once I share it with them. Okay. So it's 3:01. I'm gonna let this person in, Gabi. Gabi.
Yeah, that's who I was waiting on, Gabby.
Oh, okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay.
There
Hello.
she is.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Good.
I'm Gabby. I'm Brian's coworker.
Hi. Welcome. My name is Lindsay. I am one of the board members for the Wheel with Me Foundation, and I'm going to be hosting tonight. So, um, Bree is probably gonna, I think, pop in later, and then maybe Jake. Um, and then yeah, we're just gonna. I think Bree was saying sometimes the summer sessions are like a little lower attendance just because people are like on summer break and whatever. But we will just do our thing. I'm gonna give people a couple more minutes to kind of trickle in here, but we don't have to do the full hour if it's like, you answered all the questions and there's kind of like crickets. We don't need to push it for the full
But
hour.
it's the end of summer though, so
It is, yeah. I mean, I'm hoping exactly. And I'm hoping people are sometimes the Monday, sometimes people are too like they're all case of the Mondays or whatever. But we'll just do our thing.
I want to
And
make note of my polo. I wore the company polo first time ever.
that looks cool. I like that logo.
I did
I like
this. I did
that.
this in case our boss watches. I feel like I'm one upping my coworkers because they're not wearing polos enough.
Where's your polo at?
Hey,
Also, it's
I'm
my,
officially off the clock, all right? Just saying.
my first time ever wearing purple in my entire life, so that's a new experience for me.
I
So
don't
Is it
even have a
black? Is it
polo.
black and purple? I see
it's
black
like
too, right? Oh yeah.
it's like charcoal and purple, I guess. I don't know.
That's cool.
Brings
I
out
like
your
the panels.
eyes.
Yeah, you're glowing, babe.
Yeah, sure.
I do like that logo though. Is that your guys' logo?
Yeah,
That's
it
cool.
is.
He's fast. He's reckless.
He
Okay.
is.
He's Brian.
It's Brian walking his dog.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. We don't have anybody else coming in yet, but people might be trickling in. But since it is recording, I'll just start the little beginning spiel and then we can start it off. So welcome to Wheel with Me Foundation. This is the Summer Empowerment Week. And today we are here with Brian Keeter, and he has a really cool company called Reckless Wheelchairs, and he's going to be talking to us about that. Um, and I guess if people trickle in and they have questions, we can do that. If you just want to go and kind of take the lead and just share whatever you want to share, that's probably a good way to do it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll just first start out. We basically make custom wheelchairs. We make everyday chairs and sports chairs. And I also feel like maybe just me kind of saying how I got to it might help as well. I was paralyzed in a car accident 2009, T10, T11. And obviously, like everybody, I didn't want to be paralyzed. So I went like on this journey, just like research, 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 which I could talk about forever. So I'm actually in research studies, been in a lot of research studies. And I've had three wheelchairs and I've hated them all. Like they've been super uncomfortable and like, but I never really, and this is my fault because like I never really wanted to like look into it or spend money on it because like I don't want to spend money on something I don't want to be in, right? But like just kind of like sadly after 14 years, 15 years, I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna be in a chair, I might as well try to make it as most comfortable I can. And that's what kind of led me to Reckless. I saw that they had a job opening. I've done a lot of medical sales. I actually got laid off from my last position. So I was like, okay, well, let me maybe do this part time. It's just more like a administrative type role. And Sammy, our owner, like contacted me. He's like, why do you want to do this? It doesn't make any sense for your resume. So we kind of created this outside sales position.
Okay.
That's kind of how I started with Reckless. So
Okay.
I had my first ever custom chair. I got it, just a couple of months ago. It's been interesting. It's uh, definitely better. It's like feels so much just more solid. Like it just feels like I've had a chair, break. Like when I was in Louisville, Kentucky, I was just wheeling home from research and my frame cracked.
Oh,
No rhyme or
what?
reason. Yeah, just said like the more people I talk to, the more that kind of seems like that's normal. And also what I like to say too is like there's a study done in 2020 published in the Spinal Cord Injury Medicine Journal saying that 50% of full-time users need repairs or deem their equipment inoperable within 6 months of getting in a wheelchair.
What?
Like that was
That's
an
cool.
interest, and that's kind of what led to Reckless in some ways, just like you know the issues with DMEs and just repair issues like between COVID, supply chain issues, also the reimbursements for Medicare insurance not going up, but the cost of things are going up. So like they're making things cheaper and more mass produced than they were before.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because today I actually talked to two people on sales calls who have chairs from like very, very well known companies. And like one, for instance, told me she hadn't had a good chair since like 2009. She's on her, and she just talks about how everything they have just repair, 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 brace, brace, and brace. So that's kind of part of why we exist, kind of to mitigate that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, yeah. I mean, it's so essential to have a chair that functions well and it feels good. And it's like, it shouldn't be that hard, really. But yeah, I think everything you said makes a lot of sense. A lot of these chairs are like mass produced and they're not really necessarily very customizable. And
Yeah, we like to call them adjustable. It's kind
yeah.
of the thing that we use for them.
Okay, cool. All right. How long have you been working with them?
I'm only since April.
Okay.
Gabby's been a lot longer than I. Emerson's been longer than I as well. I'm not sure the timelines. I know Gabby's been for years. Maybe she can kind of correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say like how long, Gabby?
You're on mute,
I think you're
Gabby.
muted. Yeah.
So sorry. 4 years.
4 years, okay.
Oh, okay.
And
Cool.
Emerson, how long?
I'm coming up on a year in like 2 weeks, so I'll kind of get apart.
And kind of what we feel like sets us apart, we are pretty much made up of chair users. Pretty much everything that works for us is either in a chair or a connection to someone that is in a chair.
Okay.
So all of us that are on this call are in chairs. And we have Gabby was
Nothing about us without us. Nothing about us without us. Yes.
Hey, that's right. I like that. I'm gonna write that down. Okay.
Hey, we have a shirt about that. We have a shirt online.
Oh, what? Okay.
Yeah.
Can you throw the link in there, Emerson? Throw the link
Yes,
in the
I
chat.
will throw the link in
I feel like
there.
I'm
We have a
almost there.
shirt. It's a whole
Yeah.
logo. Got it.
Ah, that's cool. I think that's a huge difference, right? In terms of like you guys really get it. Like you know what it's like to be.
that's kind of like, yeah, it's like you have, there's great ATPs, there's not so great ATPs, but like it's kind of like us. It's like we live in these chairs, right? So like there's things that I had no clue when I was first getting a chair that I know now that if I could do it over again, I would have, brought up. And like our lead chair designer is a cervical injury, is actually a Paralympian quad rugby. So he's our lead designers in a chair, our lead builder, excuse me.
I think that's amazing. So I've been in a chair for over 24 years and I can give you one, maybe two chairs. And I mean, I've had a ridiculous amount of chairs for only being, for that. I feel like I've probably had 10 chairs. They don't fit me right. I don't fit in them right. I'm uncomfortable, so like everything that you're talking about, I'm resonating with because I'm feeling all of, I always say, I think being in a chair for this long, I'd be able to advocate better for what I need. But what if I don't know what I need, right? Like I'm an advocate as my profession, but I don't know what I need to ask for. So if you don't know what you don't know, so having people like you who not only live in it, but you work in it, like that lingo, you know it on a different level.
Right.
I think that's really awesome and just so incredibly great. People I've dealt with some of these ATPs that have been ATPs for 20 years and have they even sat in a chair? Have they even tried to wheel up a sidewalk in some of these chairs that they're fitting people for? No, probably not. And that's why they're not working for us.
Yeah, and I feel like a wheelchair can fit clinically perfectly on paper, but not necessarily be right for the user, right?
100%.
Yeah, one of the things that we are do measurements differently. People are like, well, what if we can't come into Houston and get measured, right? So, with a lot of us being in chairs or have experience around chairs, it's you can tell me your entry level, your build, what your strengths and weaknesses are, You could be a quad, but a high functioning quad, or you could be an incomplete and still have, you know, what like Brian and I, we have a very similar injury, but I can guarantee that what
I
works for
don't
me is
know.
not going to work for him. Same
because
with
I'm stronger.
Emerson,
Because I'm stronger.
right? Hey, now I got a big
Yeah.
back too, all right, but you can sit here and tell me what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and we can kind of help cater those chair, especially measurements, right? Like you tell me you're 5'2", T12, incomplete. You got a lot of core. Maybe you're pretty petite. I can help dial in those numbers and say, well, this is what you're going to look for, right? Solid tires may work better than pneumatic tires for you. These lever scissor brakes may work better on one side because maybe one side is going to be weaker than the other, right? Versus not a cookie cutter. You're 5'2" female. Here's a 17-inch chair. Like, you don't even know my entry level.
Mhm.
Right. So,
So, and maybe I missed this in the beginning. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit late to the game. I had a work meeting that ran late, but when it comes to it, so you said, if you can't come to us, so that means that if we choose to get reckless, we come over to Houston, we get measured. Do you guys make this on the spot while we are still there, so we can like sit in that before we go home?
so unfortunately, no, because all our chairs are customized, right? So that's where our numbers are kind of different. Now we do have standard cookie cutter chairs. We call them, the essentials lines, which are, they're only two measurements, right? They're not really adjustable.
Yep.
Um, and then we can measure you off of that. We have you sit in one of those, and then we also take the measurements off of the current chair that you're using and say, well, between yours and then B, which is our cookie cutter chair, we can really hone in. It's like here's a size 7. That's what you came in with. Here's a size 8, and then we have a size 10. Let's kind of start tweaking those numbers, right? Um, and we tell people like one of the things people are like, well, can you start taking out half inches here, half inches there? We don't. Our numbers run strictly based off 1 inch, and we do that for a reason. People are like, well, 1 inch, 1 inch is just it's a huge difference, but there's a reason why we dial in 1 inch at a time, right? So we tell people if you cannot physically come in, and we've had people who are not chair users and they want to come with and say, I've never even been in a chair. Great. Everybody has a fold out chair, a dining room chair. Everybody's got 2 books laying around the house. Like we can help guide you where to put what. And again, dial in those numbers. And then if you tell me, hey, like there's a series of questions that we ask, like how much core function do you have? How much hand control do you have? Right? How much lower back strength do you have? Are you pushing by yourself? Are you pushing with someone else? Is someone helping you? Like, where do you live? What's the, one thing I asked Brian, like, what does your terrain look like? So we have a series of questions that we try to put out there so we can help hone, again, do you need solid tires versus pneumatic? Because
Mm-hmm.
all of my chairs were pneumatic and I didn't know about solid tires until my boss is like, dude, like you're popping tubes left and right. I'm like, that's all I know.
Right,
you know
right.
and I'm not going to be carrying tools and inner tubes with me, and every time I have an inner tube I'm like, help, I need help.
No, I'm
Right,
opposite.
because I'm by myself,
I'm
so
totally air all the way.
right, so it just really depends. Like everyone has their preferences,
Yep.
and so we definitely have a series of team that we can all pitch in and again, be the subject matter experts when if they're not able to come in physically or if they do come in physically.
I also I feel like I want to mention that most of us on here are SEI or related to SEI, but like we also do chairs for people that aren't SEI, like MS. We've done stuff for POTS, EDS, amputees. Um,
Anything that's even undiagnosed, rare neurological disorders, cerebral palsy, anything that you can think of. Even if you're a quad amputee, we've worked with people that are quad amputees that want a manual chair, and we work with that. Or if you only have one working arm, it can get really customizable.
there's a lot of amputees that get prosthetics, and insurance will approve a prosthetics, but they won't approve a chair. So they have to make a choice. And most people obviously go with the prosthetics, and they want to be upright and walking, which I understand, but I feel like sometimes they underestimate how taxing that can be on the body. And also, you might have skin issues from the prosthetic. You might have just issues with prosthetic in general. You need a kind of a backup sometimes as well.
Right, right. Going to school might be fine, but maybe going to an event might be a little bit more taxing, where maybe it's situational or depending on where you're at. That makes a lot of sense.
We're actually building a basketball chair for a double amputee who's 7 foot tall and 300 40, 40 pounds right now.
All
Mhm.
right, all right. So all shapes and sizes.
Oh yeah, he's a big
Is
guy.
it, do you guys only do manual chairs?
Yeah, we only do manual, but we
Okay.
do sports and every day.
Sports and every day. Okay.
Mhm.
So if people are like jazzed about this, what do they do? What's the first step they take if they want to get a chair from you?
Um, what we typically do, we have them set up a call with us, typically with me, and we kind of just ask the questions, what they have, what they're looking for. And Gabby kind of got into it earlier, where one of our forms specifically like, what do you have, measure what you have, and also tell us what you want changed, don't like about what you have, what you want the new chair to do that your current chair doesn't do. Like for me, I had like really narrow caster wheels, right? And like that's all I really knew. And like when I was outside, I have a really young active dog, and like I'd be hitting like the cracks in sidewalks and just annoying. So after talking to Gabby, kind of made me understand why getting wider caster wheels might help with that. So I got wider caster wheels, and also like I'm glad that I don't have I use the smart drive with my dog sometimes because he's young and wants to run, and I get that shopping cart wheel. I know a lot of people get the smart drive. I don't get that anymore with our chair. So like my dog now he'd be running if that shopping cart wheel would stop. He would just like hear that noise just stop. Now he can actually sprint with me, you know,
Oh yeah.
holding on to him.
That's cool.
So yeah, they would basically do a
Yeah.
call with us, and if they wanted to move forward, we'd send them a body measurement form and the chair measurement forms, and kind of go from there. And our team will review the measurements and kind of agree what the measurements they're looking for, what they're wanting for, and then from that point, we would enter in like a signed measurement contract, discuss payment options, and once we have payment options, the measurements down, it takes us 10 weeks to build the chair and ship it directly to them.
Okay, so payment's going to be the next
What?
big question, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. What are the, I mean, I guess,
What? Yeah. What are those options?
yeah, what are those? What's the options for payment? Because that's always the
Um,
big thing with custom
Yeah,
chairs.
yeah. So a lot of people just pay up front, or custom chairs start at $3,600. That comes with upgraded Spinergy wheels, which retail for over $1,000. Also, metal scissor brakes. Yeah, people pay up front. We also have the option where you split the payment in two. First half is due before we start the bill. The second or the remainder is due a few weeks before we ship. But they also charge a 5% interest fee for that split. We also have third party financing. We also do a lot of build chairs through grants. Like the Kelly Brush Foundation has their open grant application process right now, so we have people applying for those to get through us as well.
Nice. Yeah, the grants are big. Cool. So people can reach out and they can see what financially makes the most sense for them.
Yeah, and
But
the grants, I would say, like most of the grants are honestly typically more sports chairs, not all, but most of
okay.
them are more
Yeah, I was
towards
gonna
sports.
say, do they do the grants for just an everyday chair?
Well, what I tell people that I talk to, because there's the very well known ones like the Challenge Athletes Foundation and Kelly Rush, but like I tell people like to search locally, and like
Mhm.
we've had people find like maybe some more lesser known, obscure organizations that possibly can help, and those might help more with everyday chairs. But I just tell people to look locally for those for sure.
Okay, cool.
We
There's
also do
also
like Shop Pay Affirm. I know that's like a huge online shopping thing right now, but that is also an option as well.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
there's also
the
and the
other question,
financing, I was gonna say the rate depends. Just it's individualized, depends on credit, income, all that type of
sure.
stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Another question that I always think about whenever I think about a custom chair is for maintenance and maintenance and fixing. Like, what do you do? Because a lot of people who get a wheelchair covered through insurance, they have like a new motion or they have people
Yeah.
who know their chair and can come fix it for them. But if they're ordering, they live in California and they're ordering from you in Houston, what do they do for fixing something that comes up in their chair or maintaining their chair?
That's a
Yeah.
great question. That happened to me when I first ordered my Reckless chair. I had a problem with my caster wheel as a new wheelchair user, and I had no idea what to do. And I emailed Disability Lab, and I was like, "Hey guys, this is what's going on." They asked me to send them a video, and we had a phone call, and they even made a specialized video on how to fix my specific problem
Cool.
going on with my chair.
Mm,
So our customer service team is really on top of your specific problem. what is it and how can we dial in on how to fix it?
Okay, cool. So there's follow up, like in terms of, yeah, how you can video and they'll really help you with whatever problems you have come up with your
Yeah.
chair. That's awesome. Okay, cool.
I mean, we've had cases, when it comes down to it, we've actually had people ship chairs back in to us.
Oh,
If it comes, that's very rare, but it has happened where sometimes that's, if we have to go that far to help them solve the problem, we will, or we'll help them find, our chairs are all aluminum, very rigid. So sometimes just finding like a local, welder, kind of helping them figure out how to fix the problem is something we've done as well.
okay, cool. And then there's a question here on the chat. Do you do customization if I didn't currently need a frame? So I think she's saying she already has her frame, but like she wants different casters or she wants like different features on her chair, on her current chair. Is that a thing you can do or no?
Well, I would tell you, like, we have multiple sites, and like our site that actually we're partnering with you guys on is wheelchairbearings.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they told you we did a 20% discount code where like 10% goes to the foundation, 10% to the user. And on that site is like everything wheelchair. So you can find casters, bearings, brakes, cushions, backrests, all that stuff is on that site. Obviously,
Wow.
that's stuff if you ordered it that you'd have to, you know, put it on yourself or figure out how to get someone that can. But we have, can help you figure that out as well. But yeah, they
Nice.
do it on that site.
Oh, okay.
Thank you
I
for
put
sharing.
that link.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'd also like to point out too, like that site offers free shipping with no minimum, which I think is really rare. Another thing I like to point out as well is like we don't fold tires, which is rare from my understanding as well. And I never really thought about that, but I ordered tires like a couple of years ago. I can't remember from one of the more well-known sites, and I really only needed one, but I bought two to get the free shipping. And by the time I was ready for the second one, the second tire was like dinked and compromised, so it was worthless, but it was well past the exchange period. So I basically just bought two tires, and one was pretty much worthless. So like, we don't fold tires all for that reason in the lower 48 states for shipping.
Oh, cool.
And like from what I understand, one of the more well-known sites gives you that option, but they charge you a fee if you don't want your tires folded.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. Okay, cool. Yeah, here's the website. Okay, so recklesswheelchairs.com. Yeah, are there any other questions people have? This is so exciting. I'm really excited to learn more about this too. Thank you guys. Does anybody
Yeah.
have
Ross, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say thank y'all for coming in, and I actually haven't heard of your brand before. I'm 36 years post injury, and like I still get my insurance chairs. I've never bought in a chair, so I'm already scoping your guys' website. It's pretty cool.
You
And the
don't look.
fact that
You said 36 years. Is that what you said?
oh man, I try to make it look good, dude.
Yeah, I would have guessed you're like 36 years old.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
You're
I
not.
kind of.
I'll be 40 this year, so
Okay, so it's a young age. Okay, but still.
yeah, I had a young injury. Yeah. Oops, sorry about that. But yeah, no, I think it's awesome that you guys have such a big team of, you know, that represent the people in the wheelchairs, right? Like it's built by, the people understand the most.
Yeah.
So I think it's great.
We have a small team, but a large, part of that team is, like you said, can relate to it and it lives it. So
I think I actually made an appointment, came out because I just had some questions and stuff. And it's been a little while and I wasn't able to do anything at the time, but y'all answered all my questions and were real informative. And I really appreciated y'all's help. So I'm definitely want to look into maybe a sports chair or something to make what I have, more or better for me, I should say.
sure. We've had
I know. Oh, go ahead, Brian.
we've had people I think that I've talked to sometimes feel like they're going to get us as a backup chair. I mean, with airlines and stuff like that, but I feel like oftentimes they get our chairs and we become their insurance-based chairs, backup chair.
Well, and that's definitely something that I was thinking about as y'all were talking to have, because I got it one through my insurance and stuff, so obviously I don't want to just like throw that away kind of thing.
Sure.
But definitely having one that is more customized to me that I'd use for travel and, and just have this as, and actually have a decent, you know, be able to have a backup, but have one that actually fits me too that would be really
Yeah, I
great.
mean, I think about my first chair, and like I was in the hospital for 7 months. I had like crazy atrophy, lost tons of weight, and got fitted for my chair at that point. And that chair, when I was at my weakest point ever, my least amount of weight in my adult life, is a chair I'm supposed to have for 5 years. And that's like
Right.
that's just crazy. And
Yeah.
like because I wasn't a good advocate for myself, like Lindsay mentioned earlier, and I mean, I forget it. Her, where did she go?
Autumn. Yeah, autumn.
Autumn, right? Sorry about that. Like I just basically kept getting the same chair over and over, and like so I felt like I was a dream client for New Motion because I just
Yes. Yes.
give me the same stupid chair. I don't care. So every 5 years, I'd be like, just give me the same thing, and like, and that was great on my part. But like, yeah, just the fact.
And because I'm trying to get, more active outside and, that kind of thing. So having a chair, and I don't mean necessarily sports chair because I'm definitely not at that level, but like just something that I'm comfortable, you know, exercising in and it doesn't feel like it's adding more bad things. I'm excited. Like I'm interested to really do this and I think it's definitely something that could help me
Yeah,
in
we
the
love to
future for
help.
sure.
Hey Brian, I
Lindsay,
have
one
a
of the
question.
things, oh, sorry.
Hey Brian, this is Bree here. I don't know if this was covered or not. I might have missed this in the first couple pieces, but do you guys make sure that your chairs are compatible with like different add-on devices? Like for example, like the smart drive attachments or the Phoenix bag suitcase and stuff? Because I know people who have kind of gotten a custom chair, and then lo and behold, they couldn't make like the right attachments work, right? So have you guys thought about making sure that it's compatible with these other accessories and tools that are on the market, like the assisted drive techs and like the adaptive suitcases and things like that? Have you guys made sure that your chairs can accommodate those type of combinations, I should say?
I mean, I would say that's something we factor in, and maybe Gabby can help me out with this. But I use a smart drive with mine, like, and I use my smart drive. Earlier I was talking about I have a young pit bull, so we are on the trails a lot. And I use that to run him. So, yes, I had to make sure before I committed to get the custom chair that it would work with that, and it would. If we had people that I think you've used fireflies with our chairs.
I do. I have my reckless chair. I have the suitcase that Brie that you're talking about. And yes, it does fit our back bars. And then also the Firefly works well with our rigid chairs. Um, smart drives, the smooth, that's another attachment that's out there. I don't think that we've honestly had anybody come to us saying that an attachment doesn't necessarily work with our chair.
And
That's
we would ask them, that would be something that we could bring up before we build.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna say
yeah.
needed.
for
Yeah.
sure. We always ask before we start the build, or do you plan on it? Because we do use aluminum, but we have different sizes of aluminum, right? I guarantee you,
Right.
like I said, smart drive, free drive, all the ones that they had mentioned, they do work. I use the Phoenix suitcase when I travel. It's fine. Again, now if I put a hardback on mine, right? Like these are all the things that counter. Is it a soft back? Is it a hard back? What's the diameter of the aluminum that we're using? Because you're saying you want to use it for CrossFit, and then we find someone who's trying to like, oh, it's also my everyday chair. It doesn't fit. Well, you told us you were going to use it for CrossFit. Was your number one reason? We use thicker aluminum to hold the weight for CrossFitting, and it doesn't transfer over to a Phoenix, right? So we
Right.
always tell the
Correct.
people, we always tell clients like, hey, tell us up front what is the purpose of this chair?
Awesome.
Do not tell me it's a basketball chair, expecting for the picker to drag your
You're
suitcase, right? Like, I'm sorry, man. We built it for basketball for contact sport. It's not going to fit the Phoenix suitcase. So, yeah, so far it's fit everything. I think the only one right now, even Rob, who's our quad, who's our builder, he
yeah.
bought a made in China. That thing goes up to like 35 miles an hour moped, and it's got a quick release. Like we tried it out just for shits and for laughs and giggles, right? And
Yeah.
it works. It's got a quick release, and we're like, wow. But we're not advertising, like we don't advertise those things. One of our company's main focus is to get everyone that are users to become independent, right? So
Right.
it's not a one size fit all. I always tell people like, hey, do you fit for geriatrics? Like, I mean, how are they? Let's be real. Like, how independent are they? If they're trying to become super independent, like we're that company, but we are not a one size fits all that says here's a 3X t-shirt, make it work.
Right.
Um,
And I
so
appreciate that. I think that's a great answer because I have had other friends in the past get these really amazing custom chairs, whether they be for daily use or sports at all. But then, like, then they never thought into that aluminum size or the shape of that back bar in the back. And then, now they have to get this added plate for the Phoenix bag, and that's just one more piece that you have to take on and off your chair. So I love that you guys are asking the right questions to kind of eliminate all of those extra hiccups along the road and not needing to, add extra pieces or add in those plates and things like that. So that's amazing. That makes me super happy that you guys are kind of doing that due diligence before to make sure that you may be answering the questions that they don't know they need to answer for you guys, right? So I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah. That's a good question. Yeah, because there's a lot of different ways that I guess the standard chairs do have more of those features, right? And so that's good that you're asking about if it's going to be specialized. Like, is that going to work? Yeah.
And also, you asked me earlier about funding, and one thing that I should have pointed out at that time, we're also a VA vendor, and Gabby's a
Okay.
veteran, so we
Oh,
can
good
do
to
stuff for the
know.
VA as well. And we've done stuff over the country, different VAs. We got our first chair that we're working out of Fayetteville. I'm trying to expand the VAs in North Carolina, but yeah, so we just want to make sure that it's on record that we're a VA vendor.
Oh,
We
Are
do
you
cool.
have a
guys
chair.
are you guys ever going to try to work on getting insurance coding?
No.
no, yeah, it's
Because I do know
it's
of a
not what we
couple
want.
I do know of a couple other custom wheelchair providers that are working on getting insurance coverage so they can still get that funding piece, but then still have the chairs that they want and desire. So I wasn't sure if that was a hurdle that you were willing to tackle, because I know that there is other private custom wheelchair user makers that are on the verge of doing that for
I
sure.
mean, I think that's going to be interesting because you have legislation that they're talking about, with wheelchairs and clients or patients be able to pay like over what the reimbursement amount will be. So I feel like that's going to be interesting to watch, and I feel like it'll be interesting to see if they're successful and how that impacts their ability to build the chairs that they want to build. Which hopefully it works out where they can. But yeah, I don't know beyond that.
We don't want to, and one of the reasons I'm not sure who asked that question is the minute you start getting into black and white and you say, hey, I have a 5'10" quad who got hit by a car, and now they want to become independent, no insurance is going to say, oh sure, let's take off anti-tip wheels, oh sure, let's take off the side guards, let's take off seat belts, let's take
I
and
mean,
we
I personally disagree with that because as we have talked about, it's all about advocating for yourself. And as a
right.
wheelchair user of 15 years, I've learned how to advocate for myself when it comes to these people measuring my chair and telling me what they think I need. So I think that there is going to be more gray area in that black and white, especially here soon. And I do know other wheelchair users who work in the insurance industry that it's really all about verbiage, right? So if you can figure out how to state that you need these things, I mean that's the loophole around all these insurance stuff. So I definitely think it's a possibility. And for me as a wheelchair user, it's just about funding, right? Like I love what you guys are doing, and I know other PTs that don't do insurance because that's what the kind of care that they need to give, right? They need that customizable care. But I do think that it's interesting that there is a couple custom builders that are willing to tackle the idea of, making or trying to get insurance to cover them. So I just wasn't sure if you guys were interested in that.
Well, also we touched on it before you on. We're like, we talked about how there's a study in the Spinal Cord Injury Journal of Medicine that talks about how almost 60% of chairs fail within 6 months, and also the fact that reimbursements haven't gone up, the price of pieces and equipment has gone up. So I'd be curious to see like if they're able to offset, how are they going to offset that difference? So like if they are allowed to get reimbursements, will the reimbursements be enough to justify the higher quality chairs that they're building? I feel like
Yeah,
that'd be something that
I
would be
think so. I mean, you see some of these custom chairs that last 10 years, and these people can be independent and they can live their day-to-day lives without worrying about a metal bracket falling off. Or, my boyfriend's Jacob, who's sitting on this computer screen right now, and the bar that flips your seat back rest down, they break on every chair. They broke on his, they broke on mine, they probably broke on Autumn's, because I can see her smiling at me right now. And so that's going to cost them more money down the road with all these repairs and fixing all these parts. So why wouldn't insurance want to just make a higher quality product that makes people more independent and that doesn't cost more money?
I feel like the logic of insurance is questionable many times. So
Oh, I'm an insurance contract writer. I definitely know how this goes. But that's why, as wheelchair users, we want to advocate for change, right? The only way we're ever going to get insurance companies to cover it is to push back. And so I was just curious if your company was ever willing to try to push back.
yeah, I feel like that's something that I don't know the answer to, and maybe down the line. But yeah, I don't know.
No, I think your colleague gave us a great answer too, and I understand that it's not for everybody. It's a challenging thing for sure. As a wheelchair user, as an end user, as a person buying these chairs, that's just what I would prefer to see for my community, because how many of us live on $1,000 a month who will not be able to get a custom wheelchair ever in their life because they just can't afford it? And so I'm thinking of those people, right? Like, what can we do for the people, not us right now, but for the people in the next generation and the next generation? So that's just where my mind's at. Sorry, I just got off of work doing my contract insurance job, which is why I'm a little heated and fueled with all this passion.
No, you're good. You don't have to apologize. Girl, go. Fight it. And he did talk about earlier too, they do work with a lot of different grants and a lot of there's a couple different other options too. But yeah, that's probably a person, like a business decision that you all have to make. That's a good point. Autumn, were you going to say something, babe?
I just had a question. Like, do you guys have any like host sites, if you will, for any of your chairs? So, I work for our local independent living center in Wisconsin, and one thing that we do is we empower people to know that they've got choices, right? And so whether that be, yeah, you can go to the New Motions and the national seatings of the world and then call me when you need help with that advocacy, which is a decent portion of my job. Or you could come into my local, my independent living center and check out this one chair that you could pay cash for, that no, insurance is not going to cover this one, but if you don't want that $65 Amazon chair that everybody can get, there are different options out there available. Because I think one of my big hesitations always is, I want to touch it. I want to see it. Like,
Right.
even shopping, I'm struggling in life because shopping for clothes is a disaster because I hate doing it online. Right. And so that's how I feel about my chair. Like, I know that I don't love what I have, but there's this comfort in knowing what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
like, are there any places, obviously we could come to you in Texas, but do you like have any like, you know, central areas or like areas and quadrants of the US where people could do that? Or do you hook people up with maybe another person who's got a reckless chair that maybe is local to me who would be willing to like show me what they've got?
I think that part's a possibility. We have had people that have come to us because they know someone that has a chair, and like, yeah, I get, wanting to see it, touch it. But we're only able to do what we can do right now, and but also say that we also make things right. So like, if someone isn't happy, we do all we can to make them happy because we don't want just a one-time, you know, customer. We want a lifetime customer. So I know
For
you.
sure. And I'm sure that there's a level of hardness when it comes to growth as well. Like, you can't get your word out too fast and get this huge influx because you're this small but mighty team that can only put out so much at a time too. But like, where do you find the balance of how much outreach is just right in some of those situations?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to expand, but you're right. We can need to do it strategically and at a pace we can handle. And I know we're ramping things up with our social media presence and things like that. But yeah, I feel like that's just kind of to be determined as we kind of continue to evolve.
Yeah, you're definitely popping up more in my feed. Like, I would say a year ago, did I know what reckless wheelchair was? Maybe I heard about it once, but like now it's like, oh, in my Instagram feed or something, Facebook, it'll pop up more. So, that's good feedback for
Yeah,
you too, because sometimes you never
well,
know who's seeing what your stuff is.
I think we're making an effort for that. And like Emerson, who's on the call, I believe still, like he handles a lot of that stuff. And like I feel like if you follow us on there, you kind of see like we don't just promote our stuff. We also, he does a lot of educational stuff, like from like wheel skills to just like how to change your tires, like the right psi, that type of stuff as well. So we kind of yeah, we want people to buy our chairs, buy our parts and equipment, but also we want to be a resource to help people
Right.
kind of learn what's right for them, and like people can reach out to us that aren't necessarily buying a chair, and we'll do what we can to help them kind of figure things out, and maybe down the line, when they're ready, they'll we've earned the trust, well, they'll use us.
Well, and like Emerson said, how he said something about you needing to fix a caster wheel, or I think something along those lines, and how, by calling you guys or calling someone through that, like that also is a lot of
Yeah.
empowerment, right? Where you're empowering wheelchair users to know how to change their caster, how to
Mhm.
fix their brakes. There's
Yeah.
so many people who rely on the DME companies. And what happens when a brake breaks? Well, we wait for insurance to approve it, and then we're going with one brake and it's unsafe, or, we don't know what those options are. So, to some people it might be simple to do, but some people who really just don't know where to even start, like having that empowerment of, yeah, we know it's probably scary, but you can do it, and we're going to kind of help you through this too. So there's that level there.
That or you live in a rural area that you can't get to somewhere so easily, or you
Yes.
that
I
is
feel you.
that's a
I'm
really
rural.
big thing.
Mhm.
I
Like
agreed. When
it's
I heard that you guys were sending those custom videos, I was like, yo, if someone would have sent me a custom video 10 years ago, I wouldn't need a boyfriend to change my tubes in my tire or to get the hair out of my caster wheels.
it
Because
is
those are tips I just never learned. And like you giving them that really in-depth video, that is so huge for independence. If these people want to travel, now they can travel without worrying about something going wrong because they're going to be like, yeah, I've got this.
Right.
I think empowering people and people that don't necessarily have the resources at the tips of their hands. Like I said earlier, I grew up in Alaska, so I didn't have access to pretty much anything. So it had to be done by me, and I had to learn how to do it. So empowering people or people that never got to go to rehab or had a very, very small rehab experience, these kinds of videos. Are educating and empowering them to be able to be more confident in themselves and their abilities of what they can do.
Mhm.
I love that.
Yeah, that's so good.
Thank you guys so much for everything that you're doing for the community. I really appreciate the education, the challenge of doing the customization, and just the transparency that you've offered, not only the community, but this call today, too. I think that that is what we need more of in this world and from more businesses, not only in the disability scene, but as a whole. And I just really appreciate your guys's mission and the values that you guys are running it with. So thank you guys so much for sharing your
Sure.
expertise and everything with us tonight.
Happy to help. Thank you. We appreciate the words too. I know I do. I'm sure Gabby and Brian also do, and everyone on our team all over the United States, because we're not just so we have people in North Carolina, Las Vegas, we have people scattered all over. So that does answer also to Autumn that we do have chairs all over the United States. So we might have somebody locally in your area that we could ask them to meet up with you to get your hands on a chair.
100%. And like I talked about independent living centers just because, right, like that's where my heart lies and that's what I do. if you guys ever felt like you wanted to branch out, I know it's kind of sometimes hard to find those partners where there's no conflict of interest when it comes to some of those things, but like independent living centers, we cover so much. And even if it would just be one within a state, a lot of times they share that. But for me, like if I got to get hooked up with somebody, things that I could do is I can promote that too. Like I said, like there are options out there. And I know also for me, I can't just go to New Motion and say I want to buy a chair. They're going to say, well, you can't. I can't sell you that for cash. I can't do this, right? And like, so knowing that there are options out there available for people, that's that different level of empowerment too, because we can freaking choose what we want, and we can choose what type of chair we want, and we can choose what's on the chair, and you guys help us make some of those choices when we don't know what is all out there. So really having the ability to build something for us, especially when we're in it every single day. And for me, all freaking day, every single day, like sun up to sundown.
Mhm.
But I should point out too, we have over 2,000 different colors people can do for their frames, and also we customize the spokes different colors as well.
Also, a big note of a thing about our wheelchairs, ergonomic seating, all different kind of taper options, all of that comes free with your wheelchair in the base price. That's none of those quote unquote upgrades that other companies are saying are upgrades. No, they come with our base price of 38 or $3,600.
Yeah, my door frames are thankful that I brought my taper in. My mom's door frames as well.
But
Cool. And that's all like on your website too. I was like, you guys have a really good website.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just pulled up the website, and that's the thing is, I think I'm so used to, making it work with the chairs that I get or that I have access to. And so hearing the customization that y'all can do and everything, just it makes it'd be nice for my chair to work for me and help me work better. So I'm really interested in looking into this. So thank you.
Yeah. Does anyone else have anything else to say? Any more questions, or we could wrap up if not? Okay. Okay, well, thank you so much, you guys. This was awesome. And this was just the beginning of this whole week of Empowerment Week. Okay. We got lots of other fun stuff coming. Bree, do you want to do the honors of announcing what we have coming up?
Yes. Thank you, Lindsay, for being such an amazing host, and thank you, Reckless Wheelchairs, for leading such a great session. Like Lindsay said, we have a full week coming up tomorrow. We are going to have our board member, Kaylin Lance, do another session. It's a surprise session, which is my favorite. She's a physical therapist, and she's just going to wing it, and so we'll kind of see where the night takes us, but most likely it's going to have a real good independence, mobility, moving type of vibe. So if you're worrying or have questions about when to get back into PT or what kind of PT you should be doing post injury, or like things that you should be talking to your physical therapist about, bring those ideas tomorrow. Wednesday, you'll have me and Jesse, or me or Jesse, one of the two. We have a speaker had to be replaced, but we're going to do a fun summer session of different ways to keep active during the summer, different ideas for family members to stay active if you're a single mom working from home, or like all the different options, right? Like this summer kind of taught us a lot of different things, and we just want to share that with the community. Thursday, we are going to have a lovely member named Jay Blum from the community share about finding hope after a spinal cord injury. And a lot of these stories are really empowering. And so if you are ready to hear about how Jay empowered himself to kind of keep going post injury, we'd love to have you and talk and get to meet Jay. And then Friday, last but not least, is going to be one of my favorite events because I am food driven. Our lovely board member, Jacob Bass, is going to lead a live cooking class. This is something that has been asked for a while. We just never really made it happen. And so Jacob was so excited to kind of finally bust into that adaptive cooking. And so he is going to show everyone how you can make a quick meal on an electric skillet in a basement with no full kitchen. So there's no excuses for you guys not to cook anymore, because if Jake and I can do it without a kitchen, then you guys can do it too. And so if you guys have any questions about kitchen adaptations or cooking tools and things, or just meal ideas, pop it on Friday. Jake and I will be there. He's going to do all the work. I'm going to do all the talking. Typical to a regular cooking night in our house. And we just can't wait to have you with us.
Yes, that's going to be fun. Okay, and
Yeah,
so
it'll be-
everyone can register. Sorry, just register for those at the. Do you have the link, Bree, to the just in case if people want to click on the Eventbrite link?
Absolutely. So when you guys get the recording for tonight via the email, the way that you guys signed up, I will have the Eventbrite link attached to the recording so that you guys can also sign up for the rest of the week as well.
Cool.
So you guys will have that in about an hour and a half via your email, and it'll come from Eventbrite, not Wheel of Me Foundation.
Perfect.
Do we need to give you guys any like information about like our social media or like our contact email, things like that?
Absolutely, Brian. If you just want to text that over to me, any links, if you want to put our, I was going to announce it today, but I think he announced it for us that we're doing a fun collaboration, and we have a really great discount code for the community. If you want to send the discount code over, we're going to start promoting that live tomorrow now that the session's over.
Okay.
So whatever information you have for the website, the code, social medias, how to reach your team, if they have questions about starting the process, go ahead and throw all of that in there, and I can attach everything to the email tonight with the recording.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it. I'm gonna go check out your website right now that I'm home.
All right. Well, thanks for having us.
Well, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right. Take care.
Take care. Bye. Okay. I'm going to press unrecord, right? Stop recording. There we go.